Hello again. You know, I really don't understand why, on the topic of UFOs, that we just don't say for certain that they're there. These UFO sightings go back to as far or not further than, 1639, before there were any kind of airplanes or any kind of airships at all. There's been thousands and thousands and thousands of sightings of UFOs. Some are explainable, but some aren't. But the most important part of that is it only takes one for it to be real. So I asked this question before, but I ask you this again. In order for them not to be real, every single sighting, as far as people go, the military and everybody else around the world, would have to be wrong or a lie in order for them not to be real. It just seems like, you know, I'm sure the government doesn't want us to know about it, but it seems like, we have this headstrong way of thinking that we're the only living things out there in space. The probability of just that alone is astronomical. The probability of there being more, you know, types of living life or even things like people are much higher than anyone could ever possibly think of when you think about the terms of the size of space and our galaxy and the galaxies beyond. You know, I have it just seems like, we need to accept the fact that there are UFOs. And there are obviously higher intelligence and more advanced than we are. They say, why don't they land on the White House lawn? Because every time we see one, we shoot at it or try to put it down. I also do believe that our government has some kind of deal with them. They definitely know about it. But, just think about the implications of this. If we could find a way to, I mean, the general population, to communicate with something that has that type of advancement as far as technology goes, we could really benefit from that in a huge way. So, I think they're trickling it to us, the information slowly but surely, so that when they finally come out and say it, people aren't like shocked, like, ooh. But, we deserve the truth. Somewheres along the way, the power in this country has shifted. It used to be the power was with the people, and we set up our democracy so that, things in that fell in a certain role or a certain way. But it seems to have shifted. Our government is a complete troll of us. They tell us what they want, and that's it, period. And they have so many ways of giving us whatever information they want. And people look at the TV and that's their truth. They look at the TV, well, it must be true. It's on TV there. But, I think this country has changed a little bit. People are demanding more things. I think people are fed up in certain ways with certain things that are going on. But I just think that the UFO thing is so important. And I think maybe they've been here forever. Maybe, or forever's a long time, but, maybe they don't go out in space. Maybe they have bases under the ocean. We know more about our moon than we do about what's underneath of our oceans. And there could be a hollow earth. Who knows? There's certainly a lot of proof that would suggest there is some kind of inner earth. When you look at the poles and the no-fly zones and what was captured on there by accident by certain pilots. But yeah, maybe they live here. Maybe they're watching us. And maybe they're just waiting for us to advance to a certain level where they feel comfortable, where they can communicate with us. Obviously, right now, they must look at us like well-dressed barbarians because all we do is kill, take over, take over, take over. And, even with them, shoot them down, shoot them down. But, I just think that more people should believe in it and demand, that information and see how we can benefit from it. We're not the only ones out there. We are not. We are certainly not the most intelligent ones out there or the most tame of any other civilization. Maybe they're waiting for us to advance to a point where we don't, do such things like war and kill and hurt each other. We shouldn't do that anyway. if we turned all that around and the money we spend on war and things like that, that money could be used in such a good way. I did a paper when I went back to college maybe 10 years ago, and I looked at what the 1 year of our military budget was. And then I looked at the amount of homeless people in the United States. And it took me a while, but what I figured out was if you took just 1 year of our military's budget, you could house, clothe, and feed every single homeless person in the United States for about 12 years. Where would that money be better spent? In anybody's mind. 1 year of it. I don't believe there's any reason for war anyway. I really, really don't. I don't. And maybe that's where we have to evolve to. I also believe that we're not the first civilization on this earth that's come this far. I believe, like a lot of the Hopi Indians and other ones believe, that we're possibly the fourth civilization, because you don't just forget how you built the pyramids. That's information that you write down. I think it's pretty important. You don't just forget how you move these big blocks or how you cut them or what you used. If you look at it the way these big blocks are cut, these giant monoliths are cut, you could see tool marks. There are tool marks of something that was obviously a cutting type of machine, But I think that goes for our ego, So many think that where we are now is the most advanced as far as we've ever come and as far as anyone has ever come. I just don't believe that is true. I'm open-minded enough to believe that, we're probably, most certainly, not the first civilization to come this far before some kind of a devastating thing happens to just about wipe out everybody and, we start over again, and maybe someday people will look at the Washington Monument and things like that as the way we look at the pyramids, But anyway, this has just been on my mind for years and years and years. I first got hooked on this when I watched In Search of with Leonard Nimoy when I was in junior high, and it just stuck with me. And I think it's fascinating, and I think it's something we should really, really look into. I mean, just give you an example of where our government tells us where they are and where we could be. NASA, we've been launching the same kind of rockets up into space, putting all the junk out there, and then having them parachute home, for years, since the 60s. You get somebody like Elon Musk comes along, makes a ship that goes up into space and comes back and lands. And he did it in a couple of years. You're telling me NASA and all of our government, all those brilliant minds couldn't do that? They had to have done it. So maybe they're keeping a lot of that information from us. But why? But why are they keeping that from us? This is America. This is the great experiment. But slowly we've lost some of that. And it seems like, sometimes you may look at the news and what's going on, you may think that this seems like a dictatorship, But anyways, really look into this, Look into this and see what you think. But just remember one thing. In order for UFOs to be real, out of all the hundreds and thousands of cases, there only has to be one that's real. And then, yes, there are UFOs. And that's that. But the thing I wanted to do a while ago, but I just don't have enough subscribers, and I hope somebody that does have enough subscribers thinks of this. I believe in the power of the collective mind. In other words, if enough people think about something at the exact same time, I think that this may come to fruition. We don't know for sure because nobody's ever tried it. But if anybody out there has a ton of subscribers, try that. Get all your subscribers one day to think about one thing, whether it's somebody who is sick, that they could just think about and wish good things on, or anything. But the collective thought of lots and lots of people. A lot of big universities have done studies on this with sick people who didn't know they were part of this experiment, and the ones who people prayed for, or the ones that got thought about, recovered, and the other ones didn't. And I believe there's a lot of power in that. And I don't know why somebody hasn't done it yet. But I think that they know, the powers that be know that there's power in that. And I think that's part of the reason why they always try to keep us in a state of fear, so that they can manipulate us and don't let us think too much. Don't start using your own mind and really thinking. They keep us on that. We're got to worry about this. We got to worry about that. We never have that peaceful time to really think, okay, what can we do that's good? Anyways, I've rambled enough, but I believe in UFOs. and look into it and see. Do your homework. All right. Sorry about the long message, but thank you. Thank you. Have a good one.